Assassin's Creed Odyssey is not a great game. Now before you start smashing your keyboard and calling me a hack, I want you to calm your tits and let me explain why. This is just my opinion. Everyone has a right to form and express their opinion, especially on the things that they like and don't like. I believe that's a perfectly legitimate statement. So yeah, if you don't like it you can fuck off, cunt. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, I am not trying to attack or subject anyone. I'm just here to explain why I just genuinely don't like the game. To help illustrate my point, I'll be using The Witcher 3 and past Assassin's Creed games as a reference on what they could have done better. And if any of you were to tell me why I should not use Witcher 3 as a reference to compare Assassin's Creed Odyssey cause they're both completely different games, then you're sadly mistaken. First off, any game developer that develops an open world RPG would actually love to have a game that could beat The Witcher 3. Not only it's wrong but it's also idiotic for a company to believe that they should not try to compete and compare themselves to other companies. Especially when they both create and develop the same genre of game. And I really can't stress this enough, this is just my opinion. So don't go around cussing at me and calling me a hack just because we don't share the same opinion. It's really fucking hard to do this without anyone on the internet feeling attacked and subjected by it. That's not how you fucking treat opinions. Okay, since I got that all out of the way, without any further ado let's talk about the many flaws of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Without a doubt Assassin's Creed Odyssey has one of the most gorgeous and massive open world out there that offers an incredible realistic detail of the Greek world throughout the game. From the beautiful densely populated city of Athens, beautiful mountaintop view on Laconia, and many more. The developers literally copied the entire map of ancient Greece and placed it in a game, like literally. But sadly, in exchange for the beautiful detailed environment, it had to take one of the most iconic part of the Assassin's Creed franchise, the parkour. Since the developers heavily focused on the environment, you're left with running and climbing up and down from tall structures, going left and right from fourth walls, and even jumping off cliff that you would not normally survive. The character's overall movement animation throughout the obstacles in the game just sucks ass. Not only they were boring, but they were also quite limited. It was like Assassin's Creed 1 all over again. I really don't understand on why they didn't copy or used some of the materials from old Assassin's Creed games into Odyssey. I would not have mind seeing recycled materials like environmental obstacles like trees, fences, high walls, small stack of boxes and carts implemented into Odyssey to create obstacles ideal for an Assassin's, because there are some small materials that you could actually use from the previous Assassin's Creed games that you could just later redesign and also improve to fit the game's overall themed environment that would not badly impact the game but improve it. I just really wish Assassin's Creed Odyssey had it. I'm sorry, but the smooth, exciting and fluent movement of Assassin's Creed 3, Syndicate and Unity, especially Unity, made me wish Odyssey had it. Cause in Unity it was never a really dull moment moving around throughout the game. It was fun and exciting. All the characters' movement were well fluently designed, that it felt like as if you were the one who's actually running. The variety that The Witcher 3's world exhibits can be almost shocking. Apart from a desert area, we have everything here. A densely populated urban area, like Novigrad and Oxenfurt. Tropical swamplands, like Velen. Nordic Skyrim-esque settings with Skellige. Mountainous landscapes with Kaer Morhen. The Witcher 3's world is vast, and more importantly, it's always changing. So you are always excited to explore it cause of its vast detailed environment that has its own personality and monsters. Conclusion. The developers just did not have enough time to fully optimize and customize the game. The game in my opinion is not worthy to be called an Assassin's Creed game cause it does not have the iconic features of what makes an Assassin's Creed game. I'm just gonna dive right straight into it. At the beginning of the game the combat system feels fine and well balanced, but as soon as you start to go in any deeper you'll find yourself bored and stuck in a loop of effortless killing against weak and defenseless AI. Let me explain why. And trust me, this has nothing to do with the difficulty setting, but the combat system itself. Assassin's Creed Origin has an amazing combat system that heavily required on skills, timing and dodging to come on top. Origin has a hitbox system where you needed to aim to deal damage to the enemy. I really don't get it on why they did not took and implemented the combat system in Origin to Odyssey, but instead bring back the fucking pairing animation. I also don't get why the developers oversimplified and ruined the combat system of in Odyssey. Like, for fuck's sake. Who wrote this shit? They are more useless than a hedgehog in a condom factory. To make it a lot easier for me, I'll just make a list on how they did it. 1. They brought back the paired animation. If you successfully time a block, your character would automatically turn into the direction of the attacker to block and stuns the enemy around the character, giving you enough time to perform a combo while the enemy around reset from getting stunned. 2. The AI are too weak and too predictable. The human AI only have 3 attack patterns. First, the blockable attack. Second, attack pattern. If you continuously attack them, they will instantly turn red to ignore your attack and hit you. And third is when they turn red to use an unblockable attack that is unique to them depending on their class and weapon. 3. Overpowered abilities that are too powerful and accessible, like Rain of Destruction, Hero Strike, and Overpower Attack. Not only it's powerful, but it can also interrupt enemies' attack animation and grants invulnerability, while also knocking the enemies around the character. Majority of the abilities easily drops and render enemy troops, bounty hunters and bosses. 4. The bow. Sigh. You already know what the fuck is wrong with the bow. I'm not gonna explain it to you. 5. Skill bar. The skill bar is too accessible, and it goes up way too fast. Combine all 5 and you're basically that overpowered anime character Kirita Kun. Like, seriously, if you were to combine all 5 of this, you have a very boring combat system. Enemies can barely even finish their attack animation. Trust me, even if you were to place it on Nightmare you would still have the same boring attack pattern and same boring enemy that will just last longer. The very reason why Witcher 3 combat system was so fun, cause of its well-polished combat mechanics paired with complex varieties of enemies that has its own unique attack pattern that did not give any highlighted sign on when it's about to attack. Story. If I were to rate the main storyline of Assassin's Creed Odyssey from 1 to 10, I'll give it a 3 out of 10. I'm just gonna make a list. I genuinely don't fucking care anymore. 1. Majority of the stories were absolute utter garbage, especially the main one. I know I sound like a robot, but I could not even care less about their family. I've never felt some sort of connection to any of the characters, especially towards Demas or towards their mother. I genuinely wish the game showed us more character interaction rather than just talk about the cult. The protagonists barely even show any other signs of emotion aside from rage and curiosity. I don't know if you guys notice, but the writers seem to be really good at shifting stories that are supposedly beautiful heartfelt moments, turning it into conversation about the cult or side stories. The writers literally did not give us enough material to fucking even care. Like, the good ending does not even make any sense. How could Demas be easily persuaded with just very few words and interaction when he was also being raised by the cult all his life? And why is there barely any information about him and his past? Sigh. I actually wish I would not have gotten the good ending, but the bad one instead, cause it would have made a lot of sense if Demas and Ormerine died. The only interesting and hardest choices that I've ever encountered in the game was the Black Plague, the Arena Hero, Skira, and the White Wolf of Sparta, Nicholas. The Black Plague quest was brilliant. The quest placed the player into a certain predicament on where they have to choose to either let the family die or save them, with the risk that they could potentially spread the disease. This quest was brilliant cause it forced the players to question and doubt their moral virtues in a moral dilemma where there are no right and wrong answer, especially knowing that there isn't anything that they could do about it. This was a great story that utilizes real world consequences. Skuro on the other hand was a bit different. It saddens me cause of the fact that no matter what I choose he would still die by my hands. I truly did not wish for his death, due to the numerous interaction and stories of him and his daughter gave me enough reason to like and care about him. Nicholas in my opinion was the only character that had the best character development throughout the game, even though there were barely scenes of him. The game showed us enough information about Nicholas that we were able to see things in his perspective. Nicholas completely reminded me of Garp from One Piece. Nicholas and Garp, who were both a proud dedicated soldier and a loving father, who both were also torn to choose between family and line of duty. During the first interaction with Nicholas, we learned that he regretted it, and it haunted him of his decision ever since that night. Throughout the game Nicholas learned that he had lost his honor as a father and needed to go off into a path of redemption. All three stories were brilliant cause they were able to use and focus into all the human aspect of each characters without being heavily interrupted by side stories or information that could have been easily be talked about in a later different time without ruining any supposedly heartfelt moments. In The Witcher 3, I've never really knew the characters, but the game showed us extensive information, scenes, and dialogues to know who they are and what they like. In The Witcher 3 scene, Ciri and Geralt talking. We all know Geralt is a witcher that can't conceive or even feel emotions, but the dialogues throughout the game are quite descriptive of his emotions and intentions towards to his friends, loved ones and even foes. Ubi should really start focusing more on quality over quantity, because they have an awful lot of track record of releasing games that is not finished. 2. Choices and consequences. I don't really care the choices and consequences in the game, cause it never really gave me enough reasons and impact towards me or to the game. This has also got to do with number 1. It did not really matter on whether I choose the right or wrong answer, cause the game didn't had any big consequences that I would later regret, except for the plague thing. Poor kid. I don't know, The Witcher 3 was just so way ahead of its time that it's kinda hard to have a higher level of expectation. I can't really do anything about it. Blame CD Projekt Red. The choices and consequences were bland and straightforward. There was barely any multiple chain of effects and choices that will lead to you to a certain event that you would want or not want. Choices on Demas. I mean, the game doesn't even tries to disguise the choices. You just kinda know what to choose. And why the fuck majority of the choices that you make is at the very end before the scenario. The writers were obviously in a hurry to finish to beat the main quest that it actually ruined the pacing of the story. Unlike The Witcher 3, it has a lot of stories that are complex and has numerous choices that leads to different outcomes. Not only that, most of the side quests are intertwined to the main storyline, so most of the choices that you make will have an overall impact to the game. 3. A lot of the side quests are boring as fuck, like the slave quest and delivery quest. I actually wish they focus more on the quality over of quantity. Majority of it is just killing and gathering. There aren't really a lot of stuff to do other than kill and find treasures. I've been fucking doing that since Assassin's Creed 3. The very main problem of Odyssey and any future Assassin's Creed games is Ubi itself and its tight annual release date. Cause of this we were able to have numerous Assassin's Creed games, but in exchange for quality. After wrapping up the development in Syndicate, a new idea emerged that we know today as Odyssey, an idea that shifted to an RPG game, where it took inspiration taken from titles such as The Witcher 3, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls. In regards to the idea of player choice, Odyssey started development in 2015, so 1 year after Origin. Due to the early development, the developers would not have been able to get and use fans' opinions, especially on the regards about on what they like and don't like about Origin. I truly believe that the reason why Fortnite and the MCU were so successful is cause they were able to receive opinions from fans that they later used as a perfect interpretation of what they want. Ubi should get rid of the annual release date and take some time to absorb criticism from previous Assassin's games where they could use it to improve and implement it into future Assassin's Creed games. The annual release date is the main reason why a lot of Assassin's Creed game had a lot of bugs and optimization issues in the first place. This thing takes time. So yeah, the game just felt unrefined and unfinished, as if they didn't put a lot of thought into the game, except for its visual environment. I truly believed that the developers were too heavily invested on creating the world of Odyssey that they didn't had a lot of time to properly execute the changes that they wanted. The very game itself were too unpolished.
Good